to mow. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Oh, no clip? No clip?
I mean,
Okay.
I could do. I'm trying to
I
think.
realized I said we could do any of this stuff from the weekend or the Maryland.
What else? The Ravens didn't play. There was
I
nothing.
understand that. I said anything from the weekend.
If a tree
or the
falls in the forest.
literally anything from the weekend or the Maryland game.
The only thing I have immediately
all the many
ready.
things I said we could do, but that's
Okay.
that's-
All right. Let's reset it. This is
No.
the only thing I have immediately ready.
Too late.
is
Too late for now.
That block in the back. That
No,
wasn't.
No,
that
we're just not.
that didn't happen.
Hi, just raw dogging it over here. Not even putting any lube on. Let's go. Good morning.
Wait. Hold on. Maybe I
Monday
can
edition
find
of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Ravens didn't lose this weekend, so we got that going for us. But Maryland's trying to play the role of disappointing us. It's too late for that now, dog. You missed. You had all the time in the world, and you said, "Nah, I don't wanna."
No, I had to.
No, dude.
I was doing other stuff.
That doesn't. I didn't say you weren't doing other stuff. I'm just saying you came in with no clip, nothing.
To this series, as Churio strikes out in LCS, in Game 4 of the LCS, and there goes Ohtani.
2 strikeouts at home.
Shohei lighting up the highlights already, and a swing and a miss. Ohtani.
Too long of a clip. Good. That's for courtesy
Like
of
20
TBS.
seconds.
Yeah. That happened this weekend. It feels like forever ago, but it did happen this weekend on Friday night as the Dodgers locked up a spot in the World Series. And you can't spare me your but Ohtani's amazing. Nope. Nothing about it feels good.
Ohtani is amazing.
It doesn't mean that Shohei Ohtani can be amazing. If you were saying that's the reason why
Not
I don't
in Glenn
know,
Clark world, apparently.
I kind of enjoy watching the Dodgers. Nope, miss me. This is, to me, the crux of the point of being a sports fan.
Darn it, I shouldn't have came in with that.
Miss me with the, but I don't know, I'm kind of rooting for him because I just really like Ohtani. Miss me.
Well, I got good news. We're gonna have there's gonna be a work stoppage. We won't have baseball in 2027, and you're gonna get everything you want.
Got that going for us. Just I can't do it. My buddy, took the kids to Gaver Farm yesterday with the Gatsbys and another couple that I don't have a nickname for. I'm trying to think of what I could come up with for them. I don't know, whatever. And Mr. Whatever was wearing a Dodgers hat. And I was like, dude, what the F? He's like, well, I don't know. I bought it when I was in high school, and I just really like Shohei. How do you feel good about that?
So I haven't done that. So I had when he was still in the Angels, my uncle bought an Angels hat for some reason because they have like those $5 hats outside the stadium. Well, now they're not $5 anymore.
No,
but for some reason it fit my head really well.
Okay.
So I would wear the Angels hat every now and then. And that one was kind of harmless, because it was the Angels.
I used to wear. I used to go to.
And Ohtani was on.
I used to go to San Diego every summer, and so I definitely owned a couple of Padres hats that I would wear. Despite the fact that I was not a Padres fan, it was more like just because it said SD on it, and I really loved San Diego.
STD. Oh, SD.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just loved San Diego, so I was like, yeah, man, talk about a city that I love. But then when Manny Machado went to the Padres, I was like, maybe I'll be a Padres fan again. Like, see if I don't have one of my old hats. I just spare me on anything related to the Dodgers. Spare me. It's like we do this eternally. Both things are true. It's both that every other team could do it. Yes. But that doesn't make it good for the sport or make it fun to watch. It's a both things are true scenario. It's not fun for me to watch the team that's able to spend all of the money to go get all the players, then beat other teams. Like, wow, that's amazing. You mean they had all of the good players and they won? Incredible. Spare me. To say, well, you wish your team did. Of course I wish my team did. And if you're from Los Angeles, by all means, I understand why you're rooting for the Dodgers. They're your team. Why do you care if anyone else likes them or not? Who gives a rat's ass? If they're your team, it's like an Astros fan. Like, imagine an Astros fan thinking they're going to apologize for trash can banging. No, that's their team. They won. They're rooting for it. But you can't be mad that other people don't like it. And if you're the team, if you root for the team, if inherently that's your fandom that spends all the money and gets all the players because of it, you're going to be excited about it. But you can't be worked up that other people aren't. Deal with it. Just say, that's too bad for you guys. But we're having fun. And I'm never going to be you'll never get me to feel good about it sucks, man. It sucks. It's like when you watch your kid's team play against the team where clearly the coach of the team is also the commissioner of the league. And so he put all of the good players on his team. You're like, wow, that's crazy how that worked out, huh? Well, I guess it's just dumb luck. It just doesn't feel like the same level of accomplishment. Yeah, you won because you got all the good play. You got to start any other team's ace in Game 4. Lord. And yes, Shohei Ohtani's amazing. Nobody's debating that. One of the greatest performances in baseball history. Probably the greatest performance in baseball history. But it's joyless for me. It sucks. And I'm not blaming the Dodgers, and I'm not blaming Shohei Ohtani.
Blaming the Brewers, maybe?
Don't blame the Brewers. I mean, I guess they could have gotten some hits. Then it wouldn't have been the greatest performance. But it takes any amount of enjoyment. I didn't enjoy anything about that on Friday night. I didn't find myself saying, wow, I'm so glad I'm watching this. Because it sucks that he's doing it as a Dodger. It sucks that it's just defaulting to, here are the 3 teams that have money that could go get this player, and one of them will have them, and the rest of us will sit with our putt in our hands. And I know. Well, David Rubenstein could do it. Yes, you're right. You're right. But it still sucks.
Can he spend $1 billion?
He probably could. Almost certainly. But yeah, there's that. John Little Rock, you can hate the Dodgers all you want, but you have to respect Ohtani. He's the greatest baseball player I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, probably true. But there's a difference between respecting the player and me feeling any amount of joy towards it. I can't separate the two things. I can't. Now, this is different, right? Like, I never got any amount of joy from
no one's
watching.
saying let's go Dodgers, are they?
What's that?
No one's saying let's go Dodgers.
It's weird how that works.
Like,
we are a front-running society, Griffin. We are a people that very quickly...
like seeing Ohtani do things that I've never seen before.
And
like,
that's... Again, God bless you. That's neat. And if he were doing it for the Seattle Mariners, I'd probably... Or the...
Angels?
A random team. Yeah. Probably. Because the Angels...
I mean, how bad were the Angels?
God, it's insane, isn't it? Isn't it insane? It's just a system that doesn't work. And again, blame the owners. I'm with it. Blame the owners. Because they like the system. They get the profit without having to spend. But that's the problem for the sport. The sport has to fix the problem. And it's why I lose the ability to find joy, because we just get back to this. Because last year you wanted me to give a rat's ass about New York facing L.A. in a World Series. Ugh. Gross. Seattle and Toronto playing a Game 7 tonight for the right to probably lose to the Dodgers. All right.
Who's got a better chance of beating them?
I don't know. I think the Blue Jays are the better team.
I think so, just because of the way Vladdy's
yeah,
hitting
but
right now.
I don't think either one of them can beat the Dodgers. I don't think either one
Probably
really,
right.
honestly,
With the way their starting pitching is
I
going,
don't think either
no
one has a
is.
chance to beat the Dodgers.
Who's got the best chance to win a game?
I'd love to be wrong, but I just don't feel like that's the case. Coming up in a few minutes, the Hall of Famer Warren Moon is going to join the program. He was once on a team. We've been talking about teams that have gotten themselves into big holes and yet have climbed out of it, and Warren Moon is high on that list as he was on the Houston Oilers in what year was it?
93.
93. Of course, that was a year that I don't think ended well for the Oilers. 93 was the year where they blew the lead of the Bills, right?
Oh, was that that was the Music City?
No, it's not the Music City Miracle.
What
The Music City Miracle happened in Nashville, so it probably didn't involve the Houston Oilers. If I had to guess,
I thought they called.
I don't know a lot of things.
Yeah, but then they moved.
But
to
if
Nashville.
I had to guess, the Music City Miracle did not occur.
When did they move to Tennessee?
95?
Okay, so I was close.
No, that was not the year they blew the big lead to the Bills. It must have been.
Did
the
they
year
become the
before.
Titans in 95?
When they
They
were
just
the
didn't-
Tennessee Oilers for a minute.
Okay,
They were
so
the Tennessee
when they pulled off
Oilers.
the Music City Miracle, what was
They
their
were
name?
the Titans.
Okay, they were.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
what year
still-
was the Music City?
So, what have we accomplished today?
I'm trying to
Exactly.
learn the history of the Oilers.
Music City Miracle occurred in after the '99 season, in January of 2000. So, other than that,
Basically, this.
other than that, nailed it.
After the 90s.
Hey, look, man, I was
So
wrong about
wasn't-
something too. I thought
okay.
that was the year they lost to the Bills in the playoffs. That was the Frank Reich Bills rallying from down 28, if I remember correctly, to win. But it was not in '93. So we've all had fun here. I don't know what we've accomplished exactly, but we've all.
Well,
had
we're ready
fun.
now for this conversation.
Sure. Later in the program, Isabell Bosley, Moncton's own. She and I might be neighbors. I'm not sure. She won the 3-star event at the Maryland 5-star, the first ever Maryland champion of a Maryland 5-star event. We will talk to her about that, and we're going to try to do. It's not really first half because Lord knows this is not half the season. It's 6 games, but they put the bye where they put the bye. We're going to do a first half-ish slaps and pats, and it's not going to be fun, but all that on the way on the program today.
Who are we patting? Who gets?
Somebody's going to have to be. I'm not sure who it will be, but someone's going to have to be. I'll spend more
trying to
time
think.
thinking about
Yeah.
that possibility. I'm not sure.
Should we just do 10 slaps? Or?
Yeah, it seems more appropriate. You're not wrong about that. The Ravens are going to get back to work this week. Still, obviously, no significant moves coming from
Them or Miami? No. Yeah.
It's true. Mike McDaniel's still employed as of the moment. That could change at any moment, but it's still at this moment employed. Still no significant coaching changes, no personnel changes. Now, to be fair, once the NFL week started on Thursday, there weren't going to be any trades that were going to be made at that point. So we will see if that happens in the next couple of days after the Monday Night Football header tonight to wrap up the week. And then the Ravens will get to work, getting ready to face a Bears team that somehow scored a ton of points yesterday, except Caleb Williams only got me 5 fantasy points. Thanks, bud.
Dang, you were in the league. He got me 4. So
Appreciate it. Really solid effort. How the hell did they score 20? How many points did they have?
26.
26, and he only got 5 points.
Well, they ran for like 200 yards, which is good because the Ravens can stop the run.
Great. They got that going for them. Yeah, so the Bears come in with a win, and they come in. This is the problem when we all looked at, like, hey, this is the part of the season where the schedule breaks for the Baltimore Ravens, and maybe, but the Bears have won 4 straight coming into this one. They do have an amount of momentum built up coming into this week. Their wins have been over the Raiders and the Commanders and now the Saints, and I think it started with the Cowboys, if I remember correctly. So, no, they haven't been overwhelmingly impressive, but they're coming in feeling good about themselves, and they're coming in like a team that has a chance. We, of course, the big day this week for the Ravens will be Wednesday, because the question will be, is Lamar Jackson on the practice field on Wednesday? If he's not, yes, it's possible he could just get to the practice field on Thursday. But given the way the calendar worked, the way it seemed like the Ravens were saying, hey, this lines up for him to return after the bye, then it would feel really deflating if you get to Wednesday and Lamar Jackson isn't practicing. So Wednesday becomes the imperative day. If he's on the field, almost certain he's good to go. If he's not, again, it doesn't mean he couldn't, but given how much time they've had, it would feel like the problem is bigger if he were to not be on the practice field on Wednesday. So Wednesday's the day. We will monitor that to see about the return of Lamar Jackson. Everything else, we will see as it falls in line and what the Ravens look like when they get to Sunday's game, which obviously becomes must win. Today's show is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. You're a man of a certain age. You just don't feel quite like yourself. It's not something that, like, struck me all in one moment. It's not like I woke up one day and I was like, what the hell is going on? I can't move. It was gradual. I just noticed. I was sore. It was a production when I woke up in the morning. I couldn't figure out what the story was. I worried that I might be low T. So I got a free testosterone test from Game Day Men's Health. Turns out, not low T at all. Lots of T. All the T. But I still felt the way that I felt. So they said, how about peptide proteins? I said, okay, I'll give it a shot, man. Why not? And I asked, I'm like, hey, what's the first thing I'm going to notice? They were like, well, it's different for everybody. And I will tell you the first two things that I noticed immediately were when I woke up in the morning, again, it wasn't a production to get going. And then I also noticed that when we went and played Sunday night tennis, I wasn't sore as hell the next day. I was okay. When I would do more strenuous workouts, I was all right. So it's been a game changer for me. But there are other things that they do at Game Day Men's Health, including for those of you that are dealing with, like, erectile dysfunction issues, performance issues in the bedroom. They've got treatment plans for you at Game Day Men's Health. They also have, for those of you that are dealing with stubborn belly fat that just won't come off, they've got you. Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia. Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. Columbia, 443-266-3505. Frederick, 240-931-3717. And GameDayMen'sHealth.com. So we've been talking during the course of the Ravens bye about the history of teams that get off to slow starts to a season and whether or not those teams can still get into the playoffs. And the Ravens, of course, sit at 1-5 on the season. There have only been 4 teams that have come back from a 1-5 start, but there have been a bunch of teams that have come back from a 1-4 start to make the playoffs. And one of those teams was back in 1993. The Houston Oilers got off to a 1-4 start, but then didn't lose another game the rest of the regular season. Joining us now to tell us a little bit more about that and whether or not the Ravens can duplicate it, he was the quarterback of that team. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. The legendary Warren Moon is with us this morning here on GCR. Warren, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me on this morning. It's been a really up and down football season this year. I don't think there's no dominant team in the league at all. Everybody's kind of even there. You know, everybody has a chance. It seems like there's about 8, 10, 12 teams that could win the Super Bowl this year. So it's pretty exciting so far. Completely
agree, Warren. And by the way, it's one of the strongest arguments I have as to why the Ravens aren't cooked at 1-5, right? Which is, yeah, it's not great, but tell me who you're terrified of. And maybe the Indianapolis Colts will prove to be exactly as good as they've been so far. But they've been the best team, and we still have some questions about them. So I think your point is relevant to the Ravens, which is, yes, it looks daunting right now, but I'm also not sure that anyone is running away with anything.
You're right, and I think there's a lot of season left, and I guess you would call myself an example of like you said, I've gone through this before, and we turned it around as a football team and won 11 games in a row to finish our regular season. So I know it can be done, especially with the type of talent this team has. They just got to get their guys healthy. They've got to get their field general out there playing the way he's capable of playing, and I think they can get things turned around.
Can you take me back to '93, Warren? And you guys are sitting there at 1-4, because one of the things that we talk about a lot when teams get off to bad starts is, does it affect the body language? Do guys not receive the message? Are guys inclined to kind of quit or give up? And I always think it's way too early to be worrying about those things, but did you deal with any of that within your locker room? Did you have to pick guys up, remind them that it's still early in the season? How were you able to avoid, some of the human nature that maybe athletes might feel when they're going through something like that?
Well, I think the thing that we both had in common is we both came off very devastating playoff losses the year before. We were involved in the biggest comeback game,
the Bills,
by the Buffalo Bills. What was it? We were ahead 35-3 and ended up losing that football game in overtime. And the Ravens were the same. They lost a devastating game in Buffalo, of all places, and in a game that they probably could have won. They just made some mistakes and dropped some passes and did some things that they don't normally do. And they lost that game because everybody thought they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So first you have to get over that in the offseason, the mental part of that, of what happened in that playoff, and how do you overcome that? How do you wipe that bad taste out of your mouth? How do you forget about that and move forward? So we had to do that as a football team first. I don't think we did a very good job of it the way we got out of the blocks starting that season, me included. And I think we weren't playing as well offensively. Jack Pardee, our coach at that time, he made a change at quarterback and benched me, I think, in the fourth game of the season, and put Cody Carlson, our backup, in to start against New England on the road. Unfortunately for Cody and fortunately for me, he got hurt in that game, and I went in right before halftime, and we were behind in the football game and came back and won the game, and I never sat down again. So sometimes it takes a play like that. Sometimes it takes a game like that to get your team turned around, and that's how it happened for us. So maybe something like that has to happen for the Ravens to get them up and going and get them jump-started.
Yeah, obviously. I don't think they're going to bench Lamar Jackson, but to your point, they played 2 games without him, right? And it was ugly. It was brutal for those 2 games, and so maybe that did provide a little bit of a wake-up call should he come back this week. Warren, was there, again, with the conversations, did you have to talk to guys? Did you have to pick them up? Or was it just a case of, hey, everybody knows you go play a football game, as soon as you win 1 game, things really do. Your momentum is as good as whatever your last result was.
Yeah, we had a team meeting, and a lot of people don't like to have team meetings, but we actually had one, and we let everybody just air out everything that was on their mind. And I think it was good for our football team to let everybody air all that stuff out. And it seemed like it really cleansed us and turned us around and got us going in the right direction. We knew we were a better football team than what we were playing. It wasn't like we had a ton of injuries like the Baltimore Ravens have right now. We had some guys banged up like every team does, but, none of our major guys. So the main thing was once I started playing well, I think everybody else, just started following suit. And I think that's what happens when your leadership, starts playing the way they're capable of playing. I think everybody else follows suit, and that's what happened with our football team.
I wonder, Warren, given obviously everybody's enamored by Lamar Jackson, but, do you feel like it can be as simple as that? Because it's one of the things we've talked about, that for as bad as things are, is there a world where Lamar just fixes everything, where he can be that good that suddenly – your offensive line is better just because Lamar's there. Your defense is better because Lamar's on the other side of the field. Is it possible that he really is the force multiplier that just raises everyone because he's back out on the field?
Well, that's what your quarterback, you hope, is a force multiplier, and I think Lamar is that. Again, he can't make tackles and do all those things on defense, but what he can do is get guys to play at a different level just because they're more motivated to go out there and play. They're going to play harder because they see him playing that way, and that's what happens when your leader kind of takes control and sets the example. It makes everybody else follow. So I think once Lamar gets back on the field and he comes back out with that hunger and that vigor to be the player that he's been, I think you'll see the rest of the team follow suit. But they do have to get some guys healthy, and I think they are getting guys healthy right now during this time.
Do you again, one of the things that we start to worry, I brought up the idea of the message getting stale. Is it better to have a John Harbaugh in these moments, that someone who has been through as much as he has as a coach? Because obviously, you know how fan bases are. Fan bases are always down on the coach. The easiest thing in the world to do is to just say, fire a coach. But do you feel like, given his experience, if the Ravens are going to go through something like this, it's better to have someone like this that has kind of seen everything and might have a couple of tricks up his sleeve for how to handle the culture and a group of guys that are going through something like this?
Yeah, I think it is. I think they know him. I think he knows his football team. John's got a lot of people that he can draw off of, including his brother, on how to come out of something like this. And I just think that he'll know the right things to say to this football team to get them going, because they have been through some tough situations together. They've won a Super Bowl on this football team, but they've also had some, devastating losses as well. So he knows how to talk from both sides, and I think he's the right guy to have right now. You don't want to make a coaching change right now with everything that's going on. That's something they can address at the end of the year based off of how this season ends. Mm-hmm. But right now, I think he's the right guy to be there.
I tend to agree with that. Warren, I read John Eisenberg's book, Rocket Men, a couple years ago, and it really kind of opened my eyes. And I've had the pleasure of chatting with you a number of times over the years, but I don't know that I'd ever really thought about exactly the depths of the heartbreak that you and a lot of other black quarterbacks have experienced over the years. And, like, your story of, literally tanking a 40 just to make sure that you weren't going to be moved to another position is really eye-opening to me. I wonder to you what Lamar Jackson's success has meant. Obviously, you were a trailblazer, and you kind of led the way for a generation of quarterbacks, but to see someone who was questioned the exact same way and who insanely fell to the bottom of the first round and may well have fallen out of the first round had it not been for the Ravens, what does it mean to you to see him prove so many people so insanely wrong during the course of his career?
It just makes me proud because I felt like during the time that I played, I knew I had more of a responsibility than just winning games for my team and my organization, that I had to go out and carry myself in a way that was going to, help another generation of young quarterbacks get more opportunities to play. And I felt like the way I played in big-time situations, the way I played at a consistent level, along with Doug Williams, who was playing at the same time as myself, and also Randall Cunningham, that if we played the game at a high level, we would give other young guys an opportunity to maybe play this position as well. And that kind of happened, and it's kind of taken off from there. And Lamar is even better now than what I thought he was going to be. I always thought he could play quarterback, but he has really worked himself into being a really good passer. He's really good from the pocket. He's throwing the ball extremely well from the pocket, but he also has the amazing athletic ability to do things that other quarterbacks just can't do once they leave the pocket. So he's a definite superstar right now, and it's just proud. I'm just proud to see him the way he performs on the football field, and I know as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to have a tremendous rest of his career because he's still a young guy.
Can I ask, because Lamar kind of acknowledged it a year ago. He said that his mother, in fact, yells at him that he's not running enough anymore. And a lot of people have a theory that because he was criticized so much, he's almost like desperate to stay in the pocket and say, that's not who I am. And I think there are times where a lot of people have wondered, hey, maybe would it have been better to take off in this situation Can you maybe feel a little bit of what he might be going through in this insane criticism that he's faced because he also happens to be maybe the most dynamic runner we've ever seen at the position? We all know what he can do. Do you ever think to yourself, like, maybe he should try to run a little bit more sometimes when it seems like that space is there?
You know, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, and that's what's going on with Lamar. I remember Donovan McNabb faced the same thing when he was in Philadelphia. The media was getting on him because they felt like he had become too much of a pocket passer and needed to run the ball a little bit more with his legs. But I think the best ability of a quarterback is being available, and Lamar, every time he gets out there and runs, there's a chance that he's going to hurt himself. So for him to take the chances and pick his spots when he wants to do that, I think is very smart. Yeah, is he going to make every right decision when to run or not? I don't know, but I think for the times that he does run right now, he makes the right decision to do it, and he keeps his body out of harm's way. And you don't want this kid getting hurt like he is right now, because you see what happens when he's not in the lineup.
You're screwed.
I think making good choices as far as when to run and when to get out of bounds, when to get on the ground, all those things, he's done a pretty good job of, because he hasn't missed a lot of time for a guy that runs the ball as much as he does.
I want to ask it this way, and it's weird because I'm going to compare it to you. Obviously, you didn't win a Super Bowl, but you, of course, won a lot of championships in Canada, for example, and knowing the history, maybe you would have won lots of Super Bowls. But I think a lot of people wonder, it feels like Lamar receives an amount of scrutiny related to having not won a Super Bowl yet that maybe other quarterbacks, and particularly white quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, don't receive the same level of scrutiny about. And so it's sort of twofold. Do you feel like he gets too much about that, knowing he obviously wants to win a Super Bowl? And how much does it matter in terms of his greatness, whether he wins a Super Bowl or not? Obviously, if he doesn't, he's still almost certainly going to be a Hall of Famer. But how important is it that he wins a Super Bowl for the way that we consider Lamar and how great of a career he had?
Yeah, nowadays it seems like every quarterback is measured on that. And if you don't have that, then you're almost considered not a failure, but an underachiever or whatever. But in order to win a Super Bowl, you have to be on the right team at the right time. Everything has to really kind of go your way. And he still has a lot of time left to win a Super Bowl. I picked the Ravens to be in the Super Bowl this year at the beginning of the season just because of what I thought they had done in the offseason, how they had built their roster, especially on the defensive side. To have a Derrick Henry back there, to have all those weapons they have at the receiver spot to go along with Lamar Jackson. I just thought they were primed and ready, and then they had the motivation off of how their season ended last year to come back this year. But it hasn't happened that way, but there's still time left. But, yeah, he does get a lot of criticism for that, but there's not a whole lot else they can criticize him about because he's done everything else,
Right.
And everybody's always out for some type of criticism. You're not going to ever, just kind of waltz through this season without being criticized by somebody about something. And that's all they really have left to talk about with Lamar. So that's what he's going to keep hearing because he keeps playing at MVP level every year. He could have won another one 2 years ago or could have won last year.
He should have won, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so what else is there for them to criticize about that he hasn't done? And once he does that, then we'll have to figure out what's the next thing. Hey, he hasn't won 2 in a row yet. What's wrong with him? That'll be the next thing if he does win a Super Bowl.
He only won one. Shame on him.
Yeah.
He only won one.
Exactly.
You're probably right about that, which is almost sick. That is the way that it goes.
That's our society, though. They build you up to tear you down.
I know you're a Washington guy. Did you follow Roger Rosengarten at all when he was playing there? And have you noticed anything about him, or is that am I too wonky when I bring up a right tackle and ask you about him?
Yeah, you might be a little bit.
I appreciate it.
I know he played well on the offensive line with the rest of them, but as far as watching him as an individual, I didn't watch him that much.
I understand that entirely.
But we've had a lot of good offensive linemen come out of this school, and he's just one of them.
Warren Moon, is there anything that we can plug for you that you have going on?
Not as of right now. I have a foundation called Brothers in Arms that I started with Andre Ware and Vince Young. We all three come from single mom families. So we have a foundation called Brothers in Arms, and we target kids that come from single mom homes, that are involved in sports, that have great grades, and are looking for scholarships to go to college. So we provide scholarships to college to kids from these backgrounds, and it's been a very rewarding situation for us. And we have a fundraiser and we have a golf tournament coming up, but it's not till April. So if I'm ever on with you guys anytime after the first of the year, maybe we'll start promoting it. But that's kind of what we do, raise money for those students. And we have had our second graduating class from college this past year. And a lot of those kids have gone on and to become very successful in their jobs. And we want them to go back into their communities and look for kids that come from the same background and give them an opportunity if they can. So it's been a very rewarding opportunity for us.
That's wonderful. We will make sure that we have you back on, but in the meantime, brothersinarmshouston.com is the website for you to find out more. At WMoon1 on Twitter, WarrenMoon1 on Instagram. Warren Moon, it's always a thrill anytime we get to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning. We'd love to do it again soon, all right?
It's my pleasure, and good luck to the Ravens, and I hope Lamar heals well because I love watching him play.
Make us all look smart when we all picked him to win the Super Bowl. Appreciate you. Thank you, Warren.
Thanks a lot. You guys take care. Have a good day, all right?
The legendary Warren Moon with us here on GCR. Great stuff from him. Appreciate him taking the time. Everything you need to know about high school sports, you can find out countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. We'll come back in, maybe a quick picks recap. Then we're going to meet a local champion. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, for time reasons, we're going to move some things around. We decided that we were going to do Pats and Slaps for the quote-unquote first half. Obviously, it's not really the first half. It's just the 6 games before the bye. And frankly, a lot of the guys that are going to be on this list haven't even played all 6 games. But it's what it is. We'll do it anyway. Pats shouldn't take very long because there's not a whole lot to say. It was much more difficult to limit to 5 on Slaps. It was very difficult to come up with 5 in terms of Pats. That's the reality. Pats on the Ass brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which will return tomorrow. Normally Stan, Ross, and Luke on Mondays, but considering there's a Game 7 coming up today, they've decided they're going to move and shift to tomorrow so they can preview the World Series. So the normal Stan Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson Monday show will be tomorrow at 5 o'clock to preview the Dodgers and whoever wins Game 7 tonight. I've actually seen the script, and it's the redacted. So,
what?
Yeah, sorry. The government, they got involved.
The government's not working right now.
I can't. I wanted to tell you. I was trying to say it, but the government wasn't going to allow me to.
They're not. How are they even enforcing?
Stan Shows is always brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn, now open in Timonium at the Grandstand. My number 5 is Nate Wiggins, who's been just decent enough at times to make a low bar list. Do I think Nate Wiggins has been really good? I don't. Do I think he's made just enough plays for me to be encouraged and most everyone else hasn't really made enough plays? Yeah, that's where I'm at. Nate Wiggins, number 5.
He's going to be higher on my list because of, how shallow this list is. So Nate Wiggins will be higher on my list. My number 5, Justice Hill.
Boy, you're really going low bar. What
do you mean?
Almost being
Who else is on this list?
Yeah, I think you're being too punitive about certain things then.
I don't know. I mean, he's played a lot and he's looked good. I think the question of should he be playing this much is another one. But yeah, I mean, he looked good in Kansas City, and when he has, he showed up. He's been a good football player. So Justice Hill is number 5 on my list for since I have to have a second offensive guy.
Yeah, I think you're insane. I think there were 4 really good offensive options.
For all of them, I can think of something horrible they've done this season.
That's part of the problem. What you're doing is you're being
out.
too punitive by saying, for example, like number 4 for me is Zay Flowers, who I get it, had a miserable game against the Rams.
It was an awful game.
It was one miserable game. But to think that Zay Flowers hasn't been more beneficial to the Ravens through the course of 6 games than Justice Hill has,
number 1 on your list
I'm aware. That was for 1 week. We're talking about 6 games.
It's a 17-game season where each game matters.
I understand
and now every single game matters.
I understand that, but Zay Flowers is one of the few things that, for the most part, has been working. In 1 game, it very much did not work. And yes, Derrick Henry has still largely worked, other than the 3 fumbles. But that was enough for Derrick Henry to be left off my list, while Zay Flowers did get the nod at 4 because he impacted 3 games negatively, while Zay Flowers only impacted 1.
Number 4, Jake Hummel. Special teams was something that has not been good for this team the last couple of years. He provided us with one of the bigger moments of the season so far on the block punt, and he came on the show with us. He's a nice guy.
That part I don't care about.
He's a nice guy.
I like that he did, but that doesn't get you on the list.
He's
Look,
number 4.
That, by the way, to me is a way better argument than Justice Hill. He didn't make my list, but a way better argument on Jake Hummel that you could have given up an offensive spot and given it to him. My number 3 is Ronnie Stanley, who, while I get it, the injuries suck, Ronnie Stanley, you see every time Ronnie Stanley's not on the field how different things are. And Ronnie Stanley, when he's on the field, is a difference maker still to this point. When he's not on the field, it's what it is. Ronnie Stanley's my number 3.
He was a guy I thought about, but still, it's like when he has been on
the
the
field,
field,
the one
he's committing penalties.
The one penalty was particularly bad.
Not
yes.
like he's, it's just not like he's been a dominant, which is,
he's still been really
I
good.
can't imagine what this, we were talking about potentially them not being able to re-sign Ronnie Stanley, and I just can't imagine what they look like right now if they did not.
Well, we get
back.
to see it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
we get to see it.
I know, but like the fact that we've had encouraging losses at times, and it's probably because they do have Ronnie Stanley. My number 3, I'm going with Teddy Buchanan. He was given a big opportunity and he seized it. He's looked good, and
I don't know if he's seized it. I
mean,
think he's had
else
moments.
Who else?
I understand.
I think Teddy Buchanan has been very encouraging, and for a defense that's been largely awful, he's been a bright spot. So that gives Nate Wiggins is going to be my number 2.
Okay,
I think he's been their best defensive player. I guess
think you're insane.
I mean, when you're thinking about, Kyle Hamilton we just haven't seen.
Kyle Hamilton's number 1 on my list. This is nuts. Kyle Hamilton's been the best Raven. Now I get it. Has he popped? Has he made game-changing splashy plays? No, but he has definitely been the best Raven through the course of 6 games. Lamar's number 2. It's insane that a guy can miss 2.5 games and still be number 2 on the list, but that's where we are. Lamar's number 2, and Kyle Hamilton's number 1.
Lamar's my number 1.
I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts, but I can't even argue with you.
Exactly.
I can't. I can argue that Kyle Hamilton didn't make your list. That's
maybe it should have been
kind of bizarre.
Do more.
You say do more. Kyle Hamilton, the best Raven. But yeah, that's a really depressing list. That is incredibly depressing. I didn't really have. Derrick Henry still was in conversation for me because he was good enough in multiple games that I thought he was worthy of consideration, but the fumbles were indeed enough for me to say, nope, not going to happen. I can't believe I'm going to say this. There was a part of me that thought about Nnamdi Madubuike just because, my God, we watched how much worse it got the moment that Nnamdi Madubuike was not on the field. But he only played in 2 games, so I ultimately couldn't. But, boy, I really did still think about putting Nnamdi Madubuike on the list. Genuinely still thought about it. And that's it. That's it. I'm probably being not respectful.
Was Roquan on your? Did he get any consideration?
No, did not. I get the 1 game, obviously. The Cleveland game was really good, but on the whole, no. I thought about Tyler Linderbaum just because, as bad as things have been on the offensive line, I don't think he's been the problem. But again, when the collective issue is so bad, it's hard. I ultimately decided on 1, and I went with Stanley, but I get it. Somebody might say it's Linderbaum. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel, man. It's just that bad. Just very few options. We will get those up here in a bit. Those are our first half-ish of the season Pats. We will get them up at glennclarkradio.com. Now, we'll get back into some football conversation in a minute. But the Maryland 5-star was this weekend out at Fair Hill in Cecil County. And for the first time in the 5 years of the Maryland 5-star, there was a Marylander who was crowned a champion. And in fact, I think she and I might be neighbors. Given the world that I come from, as I live in Moncton on a horse farm and married to a rider, I can't believe – in fact, maybe we have – it's totally possible we've been at like a post-Hunt Cup party together at some point. She won the 3-star this weekend at the Maryland 5-star. She is Moncton's own Isabell Bosley, and she is with us now here on GCR. Isabelle, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time, and congratulations to you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank
you
for taking the time. Isabelle, can you put into words, right? Like what this means, what you've done in your life, but to do it at Fair Hill, at the Maryland 5-star in the 3-star event. Can you put into words what this accomplishment means?
Honestly, at the moment, not really. It's all a bit of a shock to me because, not only is this is like by far the biggest win of my career so far, and then to have it be on kind of home turf with, there was just so many friends and family there at the venue, and somewhere where I've been grown up riding and watching top sports there with the horse industry like my entire life. So to have it kind of all come together this weekend, it just kind of felt like fairy tale weekend. Like my horse was just incredible all week and everything went right, and that doesn't happen a lot with horses. So it's pretty surreal.
All right, so your horse is Connor, correct?
Connor.
Tell me about Connor. What's the history with Connor? And when you say my horse was incredible, because most of us are dumb. We don't understand.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
wife understands that and tries to explain it to me, but I still don't get it. Like, what does that mean? How is the horse better one weekend than maybe another weekend?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're basically trying to like communicate with a 1,200-pound animal underneath you, so it's a little, it kind of can be a bit tricky. And the sport that we do, 3-day eventing, you have 3 different phases. Like, I kind of try to describe it like it's a triathlon with horses, and you're, each phase is a bit different. 2 of the phases are jumping phases, one across country, and then one in an arena over show jumps. And then the first phase that you do is in an arena, kind of just testing the horse's obedience, I would say would be the most simplistic way to put it. So you're basically taking like a super, super fit horse. It's like as fit as a race horse, and, is wild, and making it, not be crazy for a day without the jumping. And then, you go gallop them around it was a nearly 10-minute cross-country course over, serious terrain, and you're going really fast over solid fences. And then they have to, step up to that and be really brave. And then, you have to come back after doing that really hard test. And then come in the arena and make them jump really carefully over a bunch of show jumps with, there's just so many people in the crowds, and a lot of pressure yesterday, because I didn't have, like, if I had knocked the rail down, I would have lost. So, there wasn't much, there's no room for error. So it was, and he just every day, like, delivered 100%, which does not always happen. That is for sure.
Do you know that? Like, is there a point in an event where you're like, oh, Connor's on? Like, this could be special. Like, is there something that tells you?
Yeah. I've been with this horse for his whole career, and I know him really well, so I can kind of tell when he's like, not really listening well. And, sometimes the horses will get really excited and a bit wild, and, you don't really have their head in it. And for a horse like him, like, he's an incredible athlete, but at the same time, that can also be quite tricky with getting him to kind of calm himself and listen and, do the things he has to do. But he, I could definitely tell, like, he was on point, and really, ready to do the job. And, every time, there's always a little bit of a question mark, but he felt really good. And, just like he was on it, and, it was a good feeling, like, gave a lot of confidence going into all the phases.
Isabell Bosley from Moncton. She won the 3-star this weekend at the Maryland 5-star. She's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Isabelle, you mentioned what it means to you. Do you have a sense for what it means to the entire local community? That we're now 5 years into this event, and it's continued to grow year after year. For you to kind of put a stamp down for local riders and the local horse industry, did you feel that? Did you get a lot of that over the course of the last 24 or so hours?
Yes, and I did not think it was going to be like that. So it has been a very big surprise to me. Like, I don't know. I think I was so focused on the weekend going well that, it was a pretty incredible moment, like when they're having me do a victory gallop around in the awards, and I looked up in the stands, and I could just, like, was passing by person after person that I knew, just, like, screaming their head off for me. And it really hit me. Like, I didn't realize how big of a win it almost feels for the whole community, just having it be someone they know, and, like a family or friend. And that made it really special, because, I've had this is definitely the biggest win, but I would say if it had happened anywhere else, it wouldn't have felt as amazing as it did yesterday. Like, I definitely didn't realize I had that many people rooting for me so hard.
Cool. No, it's really cool, and I think it meant probably the people that you don't even know, right? Who just want to see a local have success.
And, like, the outpour I've gotten on social media is overwhelming, to be honest. Like, I almost feel bad because there's so many people that I haven't responded to, but I'm, like, just so thankful for all the kind words that they're saying to me, and people I haven't heard from in years that were watching all weekend that I just didn't expect it. And it's an incredible feeling.
On the flip side, even before you were a champion, what did this event mean to you that it exists, right? That you're even able to compete in something of this level? Now, obviously, I'm imagining it means like a million times more because you're a champion.
Yeah, it's been really cool, like watching the whole 5-star develop there. And I was so excited when I heard they were bringing a 5-star there. Like that's like my dream come true. That's like bringing, Super Bowl to your hometown, like with your favorite teams. Like it's just like this is amazing. So I always was like, God, I can't wait. And I actually did compete once in the 3-star a couple years ago, and I like didn't get past fence 5. So I had a bit of demons to put to bed there, and I was like, shit, my hometown, I really messed up this weekend. So it felt really good to come back on a horse that I knew like was very capable of delivering a win and pulling it off, because it's one thing, there's so many times I've had the horse to do it, but I don't pull it off. So it feels really good to get it done and do it at Maryland 5-star. Like it's just, there's nothing better I could have hoped for. And I've been aiming for this show like since January. It's been like Connor to Maryland 5-star, Connor to Maryland 5-star, and my whole season has been with that in mind and planning for that and training for that. So it's been a lot of emotions through the whole year getting here. So it's a huge relief that it panned out.
I acknowledge this is dumb guy question now, right? Like, does this make you think about like bigger? Does this make you think like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like like this is just kind of the beginning really for this horse. Like,
okay.
This, when they hit that level, like I'd say this is he wins, like he's won a lot of events, but this would be the first serious milestone for him. And it gives a really good idea, like moving forward, the goal, I hopefully in a few years will be back in the 5-star with him if everything goes to plan.
Wow.
But, it's quite hard. They're animals. Like he could, anything could happen with them. So, you obviously have to have a plan A, but things can go any direction. But hopefully it'll go the way we want.
Man, what a story that would be, to become the first Marylander to win the 5-star. Like that would be.
That's the real quiet dream.
I appreciate. I didn't want to put that out there and make it seem too crazy, but I'm glad you said that, because that would just be the coolest thing ever. Did you allow yourself anything yet? Like I know how. Again, my life is horse people, so like I know that you all wake up at like 4 a.m. You're insane.
Yeah.
Did you allow yourself any extended celebration, or was it like
we did have a little party last night?
Okay.
With mainly just all friends and family locally. But when I say party, like I was still in bed by 9:30 last night. I was exhausted. It was an early night party. But then I was up at 6 this morning, and I've been riding all morning, and I just had to leave the barn real quick just to come to this. So we're immediately back to work. It's and there's a lot of, we have shows this weekend, next weekend. Like we gotta, it's a big win, but also I got to keep looking forward.
I understand this life. I
know it's crazy. I get it.
When I met my wife and she tried to explain it to me, I was like, all right, what? And then like it became there, and she's not at your level, obviously.
I have 3 older brothers, and they all obviously have grown up. Our family is very horse oriented, and they all probably made the wise decision that they wanted nothing to do with horses as a career. But so they really respect what I do, but they're also like, you're crazy.
What did it mean to them though? What did it mean because I think this is part of it. Like when you are in this world, your family is involved. They are packing up with you and going to shows on Saturdays. They are helping you. I have no doubt that your brothers probably had to put the hitch on at times and all of that stuff. What did it mean to your family to experience this, knowing all of the involvement?
They were freaking out. My parents were hysterical. One of my brothers was able to come, and he was there, and he doesn't get to come to a lot of shows, so he was just like, whoa, sister, this is so cool. You're really awesome. And then the other 2, they were watching on the live stream, and I had a ton of other family that couldn't make it that was on the live stream, and I was just like, they're just blowing me up with text and calls, and they understand how much work I put into it. So they're the ones that get the most. So they're just, I think, so proud to see it go the way that, that we all hoped it would. Like, it's just, it's a win just as much for all of them. So it makes it really fun.
All right. This is now my go-to question for riders. We know that you are capable of horse dancing. What about actual dancing? Like, what does it look like when the horse isn't involved? Do you have nearly as much rhythm as you have on the horse?
No, no. I only look graceful on a horse. I'm the clumsiest person alive. I fall down all the time, hit things, trip on things. I don't do well on 2 feet.
I don't know. I feel like that's pretty common.
And you have to drag me out onto the dance floor.
I feel like that's also common among riders. I feel like that is not unique to you.
Yeah.
Isabelle, seriously, incredibly happy for you. What an awesome moment, and really, I can tell what it means to everybody in the state that you were able to get this win at the 3-star. You mentioned social media. Where can folks be giving you a follow?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and I have Facebook, but Instagram does most of the socials these days. So I think it's just at Isabell Bosley. You should be able to find me. And I'll be probably the only one with all horses on my account.
There you go.
So
That's how you'll know you've got the right one. Isabelle, seriously, major congratulations to you. This was awesome, and I hope the next time we're talking about you winning the 5-star.
I hope so too. That'd be a dream, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing. Thank you for taking the time for us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Isabell Bosley from Moncton, champion of the 3-star event at the Maryland 5-star this weekend. 5th edition of the Maryland 5-star. Great weekend and an event that just continues to grow. And that's a big deal, right? Like, for the investment from the local community to have a local champion, it's a really big thing. And hopefully you continue to see more and more success moving forward for local riders. But awesome there, and appreciate Isabelle taking the time for us. All right, we did Pats, so let's do slaps here. And this one, again, as difficult as it was to come up with folks for the other list, it was far more difficult to limit who made this list. And as always, when we do them like this, you can put somebody on both lists. I did not have anyone make both lists for me. My number 5 certainly would have been higher if you had asked me 8 days ago, but Andrew Voorhees still ends up making the list. Yes, I thought he was better against the Rams, but that's one game, and I don't know that to me that means that he's definitively turning the corner versus just having a good game and there being maybe a better zone blocking scheme that was in place for that game. But it's enough that to me there's a little separation between the two guards that I obviously both made my list. Andrew Voorhees, number 5.
I don't really know. I'm really having trouble with what order I want to rank all these guys.
Well, you have to do that. That's the way this works.
And especially maybe it was just because of how much the broadcast was being like, man, Robert Saleh's doing this with guys we've never heard of. I think I'm ultimate. Zach Orr's gonna be my number 5. I mean, it's
gonna be much higher on my list.
The players have been awful too, so
I understand.
The players are gonna be up there. Zach Orr, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to have a coach, and I know I need no lineman on there, and so I will go with Zach Orr as my number 4, my number 5. The defense has obviously been terrible, and despite missing a lot of key figures, Nnamdi Madubuike being maybe potentially the most impactful guy out there. They missed Kyle Hamilton for a game. Zach Orr will be my number 5. The defense has not been good.
Mike Green is my number 4. I get it. He's a rookie, and certainly Malachi Starks could be in this conversation, but it was one thing when it was just, boy, Mike Green doesn't look good in pass coverage. It's another thing when he's getting this many snaps and opportunities, and as I pointed out via Next Gen Stats, he's not close. He's not anywhere near. He's not even disruptive. Remember early on with Adafio where we were like, well, yeah, he's not getting sacks, but, you can tell he's disruptive. You can tell there's nothing. A giant ball of nothing right now that you're getting from Mike Green. Mike Green is my number 4.
Mike Green is my number 4 as well. It's it's
cheater.
Me cheating? Now I'm cheating. Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's been a complete non-factor. That'll be another big reason why the guy that's going to be one more spot higher on my list, or maybe I might put him on. Yeah, he'll be one more spot higher. This is, and I'm still trying to give him some leeway. Like, he is a rookie. He's only played 6 games, and he's getting thrust into the lineup. But this is a guy that was a bit of a heralded prospect, and yeah, he has not been. He's barely, you barely notice that he's on the field. You're noticing because he wears number 45, and that's just kind of so offsetting. And so if he wore an actual defensive lineman's number, he might not even be on my list. You never know.
My number 3 is Jair Alexander. If you think Mike Green's a big ball and nothing, Jair Alexander is jealous of how impactful Mike Green is. And it's a complicated problem, right? Because, yes, you can say, well, he wasn't even active for a few games. But that's part of the problem, too, obviously. But a far bigger problem that he was back on the field, played, still wasn't impactful, and then he's healthy. He was active for the Rams game and just didn't play because that's how little they think of Jair Alexander right now. This is shaping up to be one of the all-time whiffs. Like, all-time whiffs. And I get it. We all did the same thing. We were like, well, look, that.
I mean, how much are they paying him? Like,
that part of it, fine. If you want to say, like, other guys made more money to be less productive, if you want to view it in that way.
He's got a $4 million cap hit.
Yeah. But in the context of this was the one that made everybody start to say, this is the complete roster that we've been waiting for. Yuck. It has been awful. Jair Alexander, number 3.
He's not on my list. I mean, the injuries I am, saying those are legit, and I know that's part of the Jair Alexander story.
It's not only part of the Jair Alexander story. It's more problematic that he played and then was injured, which suggests that
you don't think it's a Fugaze injury.
It's like this is just what he is. Like, yes, he's always injured. This wasn't about him getting into shape. That was the argument. Like, they rushed him back, and he wasn't ready yet. Well, he's had weeks, which suggests that it might really not be about an injury or being in football shape as much as it's just this is who Jair Alexander is now. Look, man, there's still time.
But he was teammates with Lamar.
I understand that. I was as in favor of as everybody else was.
So was I.
I'm not. And I would add to it that we brought up how little he had played football, but we were inclined to say, but yet, if you can get anything that resembles, this was probably always the most likely scenario. And it's the part that we don't want to talk about because we wanted to sort of be more excited and encouraged in the offseason. But based on the track record, this was probably what you were signing up for. Go ahead.
Travis Jones is my number 3. I guess he was banged up as well. He did miss what he missed. He missed 1 game. But he's been a complete. He's also been
it's
a
felt like
non-factor.
he probably needed to miss more time, but they were so desperate that he's just tried to I'm probably being fair to him by keeping him off the list, but I get it.
We thought he would be taking on more double teams and trying to open things up. We thought he'd be Nnamdi Madubuike, and that probably is unfair to him. But he has not been Nnamdi Madubuike at all. He has not been a factor in stopping the run. He's not helping with the pass rush whatsoever by trying to suck up 2 blockers. So Travis Jones is my number 3. The defensive line has been very, very bad, and Travis Jones is right there in the middle of it.
My number 2 is Daniel Faalele. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. Daniel Faalele.
He's my number 2 as well.
Okay. Zach Orr was number 1, and that was the only debate.
Derrick Henry's
about,
my number 1.
That's insanity. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Zay Flowers was supposed to be my number 5.
You're
because
choosing to obsess and certain aspects and not looking at big picture.
He doesn't fumble. Did they lose the Buffalo game?
Probably not, but the defense was so bad down the stretch that I don't know that either. This is and
he hasn't done anything since the Buffalo game.
No, he was great against the Rams last week. I mean, yeah, he was.
Great?
Yes, he was.
Then why did they win?
Because they couldn't do anything.
Why didn't they give it to him 4 times in a row on the goal line?
It's a great question. I don't have the answer for that, but it has nothing to do with Derrick Henry. This is punitive. Like, you've just decided that your lists are punitive towards
winning and losing.
Very small.
The way that the game is measured.
In measuring one game, no problem. No problem. Like, for example, the Zay Flower thing, that definitely is the reason why you lost that game last week. There is no doubt about it. But in a total picture of where you are through 6 weeks, the story ain't Derrick Henry. It's not.
Still, Derrick Henry fumbling 3 times.
I get
in
it.
The first 3 weeks.
It's not great. Nobody's arguing that.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Again, all of those things are true. He ain't been the worst Raven, not by a long shot.
I mean, he's
not
probably
in the
tied for
conversation.
first with about 10 guys.
Zach Orr was number 1, and the only debate to me was, do you just make it John Harbaugh to recognize the totality of it? But the defense has been so uniquely bad that ultimately in that race, like if we did it without rules, it would probably be Orr 1, Harbaugh 2, Munkin 3. Like,
I think I would agree. Yeah.
But you obviously don't agree because you didn't have any of those guys at the top of your list.
And then maybe Warhop up there, Chuck Smith.
Yeah, certainly. All of those guys would be in the conversation.
All the Chucks.
But it doesn't absolve. You don't want to absolve the players
since I can't
either.
since I can't go 1, 2, 3 coaches,
then you don't want to put any of them.
Well, then because clearly then this game is more about the players. Then
it's not necessarily more about the players.
Hold on to the football,
Zach Orr. I would agree to hold on to the football. I don't disagree with that. But Derrick Henry's definitely not. Having him on your list would be one thing. Having him number 1 is insane. But
the run game's been bad. That's why Travis. That's why my top 3 guys, Falele, both sides of the ball. Can't stop the run. They haven't been running. So.
Hey, Project Game Day will be back this Sunday, and that'll be fun, right? We'll enjoy talking about, hopefully, Lamar Jackson, and hopefully things getting better. The Ravens are early 6.5-point favorites against the Bears on Sunday. So come join us after the game, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay. Myself, Rita, KZ, former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser, and an assorted cast of characters this Sunday, immediately following Ravens-Bears for Project Game Day. It's brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Inn, and Live Casino and Hotel. Let's get into Picks Recap so we can talk about the week that was in football. Picks Recap is brought to you by the new print issue of PressBox, which is available at your Baltimore area High's Dairy Store. That is the new central location for picking up the print issue of PressBox. We are Heisman. That's who we are. That's what we love. Go get yourself some ice cream, some coffee, and a print issue of PressBox at your Baltimore area High's Dairy Store. You can find it in plenty of locations. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/find if you're not sure exactly where you can get that print issue of PressBox. As always, you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Great cover story from Don Marcus about new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, the path that he took to the job and the job that he inherits. And speaking of Maryland, it might be looking more and more like there might be a decision that they have to make as we start Picks Recap with Maryland getting another statement cover.
Yeah, all 3 of them felt,
Was the first one a cover?
I believe they covered all 3.
I can't remember.
They lost by 4, 3.
I know the last 2 were definitely covers.
Who was the first game against?
Washington.
I think that was like a 4.5 point spread.
Well, we could probably find this out right now. Yeah, Maryland covered in all 3. You're right. It was a 6.5 point spread in that game.
Oh, that's right. I could have just looked at this.
3 straight statement covers. There's multiple troublesome parts about this. The first troublesome part is they still cannot run the ball at all. At all.
Until you maybe just try to just cut Malik loose more, I guess.
Well, we'll get to that. They can't run the ball from a running back at all. And it is a massive problem. The second issue was that this was by far Malik Washington's worst game. This was bad. How much of that is because they can't run the ball, it's just made his life far more difficult, and teams are figuring that out. How much of that is him just in general pressing because they had lost back-to-back games? How much of that is the nature of him being a freshman? You obviously get to see still, even in what was his worst game, you still saw some moments of what he's capable of doing. And I'm still very excited about Malik Washington, and I do still think that it matters. Like, if this does completely spiral for Maryland, I do still think it matters in a decision that they might make whether you can keep Malik Washington or not. Because you might be searching for a quarterback for another decade with another coach. And that's a tough conversation to have, because what you're saying is, does the coach really deserve to keep his job? Maybe not, but you might just have to, because this is how bleak things are for Maryland, that you just have to keep the coach that keeps the quarterback. But it was a bad game. I mean, his footwork was off. You finally saw him on that final drive where they go down and score, decide to start taking off a little bit more. But even when he was running early in the game, his awareness was off. He wasn't fully aware. Late in the first half, I pointed this out. He was running for the sideline when they didn't need the sideline. They needed yards to get into field goal range. And he was cutting almost directly, almost laterally to the sideline to get out of bounds, when you forget that in college football, the clock will stop if you get a first down. You've got time to get up and spike the ball. And losing a down is worth it in that spot to get, in some cases, 5, 6, 7 more yards when they were approaching field goal range. He's a freshman. And I got to be fair to the talent is unquestionable. He had a bad game on Saturday. Bad game. To the point where I did wonder if maybe they were better suited putting in one of the other quarterbacks in the second half. It was that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that.
It was that bad. The argument would be that what he got out of that last drive made it all worthwhile for him and his development. But again, this is the difficult thing about you don't have a contract. The development part only matters as much as
I mean,
how long are you going to be around?
So he had the one interception, but it's not like he was like making
the throws were bad.
Turnover, like
it's a
these
different
are all
thing.
plays
There's
that
a
should have
different
been
thing
interception.
between.
Should have
Well,
been.
there were a few that should have been intercepted. There were definitely a few.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that, but it's not like he was putting the ball. He was continuously putting the ball in harm's way.
He was continuously missing.
That's when
he was continuously
if you're
missing.
trying to give the ball to the other team, that's when I think you talk about,
I think when someone looks rattled, when someone looks like,
I think it's part of it as well. This is why you picked this kid. Is because
I understand.
You got to see what it is.
But it didn't happen until the final drive, and nearly ran out of time before that.
I mean,
like UCLA missed a field goal that would have made it a 2-possession game that would have made it irrelevant.
And maybe we're discrediting UCLA too much. Like,
I don't think it's about discrediting UCLA.
They were terrible, and all of a sudden, maybe they.
Maybe
all they needed. I don't know.
Maybe, but that's
someone was like, "What were they doing before they fired their coach?
Right.
Not practicing?"
Yeah, I don't know. But they didn't look particularly impressive either.
No, they certainly did
Nico
not.
looked awful,
Yeah,
and I get some of that Maryland's defense is legit. I'm not trying to take that away until the end of the game. But like Nico stinks. I have no idea what the story is there. It was bad, and like we can't. All of the other things can be true, and we can't be afraid of saying, like, when Lamar has a terrible game, we have to be able to say Lamar had a terrible game, and it doesn't mean that he's not a great quarterback. Malik Washington is the best thing that's happened to Maryland at the quarterback position in a very long time, and he had a wretched game on Saturday. He was awful. Now, that's a complicated conversation. And he did finally put together a really good drive. And he probably needs to run more. Maybe that reflects on something we talked about with Warren Moon earlier. And Malik Washington certainly as a runner is not Lamar Jackson as a runner. But the lanes appear to be there, and they oftentimes just need something in a run game to keep a defense honest. Because they can't do it with their running backs.
And he might be their he's a freshman. We don't want him to be like lowering into contact, but he is one of the bigger guys on the field. That is also true. Like, he's not easy to bring down if he wants to.
Add on to that, the defense was excellent, right up until they had to be, and that obviously continues to be an issue. And for all the good things they've done defensively, their story still is in the fourth quarter, they're getting their ass kicked. And it was something that I was thinking about when Maryland scored, right? Like, another problem, and this is something that I don't know what the line is between coaching, and it's not just Malik Washington. I saw this yesterday with Jackson Dart. We'll get to that game in a minute. These teams that don't – why are you throwing deep when there's a minute left in a game?
I mean,
What are you doing?
It's such a hard line to thread.
It's I understand because the argument is
have to score.
We have to score, right? And if that's the read, that's the read. The number of times the teams are throwing, it ain't the read. It's just that the other ones aren't there, so you're just deciding maybe that you should have 5 routes, understanding we need to do both things. We both need to score, and we need to take time off the clock. And it's a complicated conversation that's going to come into the picture. And they were talking about it heavy on the CBS broadcast of the Broncos-Giants game. The next level of football is going to be a team taking a knee on 1st and goal from the 2-yard line and saying, we need to score, but we also have to score with less than 20 seconds left on the clock. Like, that's the next level of football that stopping a team for 4 downs is becoming impossible. It's difficult in 3 downs. When you give a team 4 downs, it's becoming...
I do think that maybe it's more of an offensive strategy for teams to try and just get a deep pass interference call than like maybe we realize.
There's
like,
some of that for sure.
I think that was I can't remember exactly how it played out, but I feel like that was definitely almost probably what the Giants wanted with one of those deep balls in that final minute.
Maybe, but that's a bad strategy too.
I agree, but I think that's
they got the pass interference, and we'll get to that back to that game. But the defensive problems are incredibly real at the end of games for Maryland, which is a shame because overall their defense is really good. And the biggest problem now for Maryland is...
Especially Sidney Stewart.
He's been excellent. There's no question about that.
Another sad.
What's-his-face? Zahir Mathis has been outstanding. But this is where they are. They're 4-3, and they got to face Indiana out of the bye. And... I think saying they have a slim chance of winning that is doing a lot of work. Almost certainly they're going to be 4-4. And now you got to find – you only have one more home game after that against Michigan. Like, you got to find 2 more wins.
You got at Rutgers.
At Rutgers is a chance, but – and the other one would be at Michigan State at the end of the season. Those
At Illinois as well.
I don't give them much of a chance in that game. But
probably shouldn't, but,
like, maybe.
It is football.
Like, just to, at this point, forget about the 4-0 start and does it look bad that you would go 2-6 after that. You just need to do something that makes anyone feel like there's something positive left here. Because if it does come completely unglued at 4-8, everyone knows I love Mike Locksley. And I am terrified of Mike Locksley departing, and now Malik Washington is gone too. But at some point, if it comes unglued, it's going to be very difficult for Jim Smith, for anyone involved with Maryland to say, just trust us. Because what are you trusting? They've got to figure out a way to win a couple of these games. And that's what makes these last 3 weeks so difficult, is they could have already had this. They were never going to win the Big Ten. They were never going to compete for a major bowl game. But they could already have it in the bank that now, if you can just pick off Rutgers, Michigan State, you can win 7 or 8 games and definitely show that you're going in the right trajectory. This is bad. There's no way around it.
I hate that you're right. John, I feel like John makes an interesting point. Is now definitely not the right time to do it with all the how many coaching openings there are and the fact that you're just going to get a leftover?
I mean, I don't think that's going to be – that's, I think, more the nature of the sport anymore. I think there are going to be this many coach openings every year.
Now, just because of the way things are, where if we don't win 10 games.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're at the mercy of people that are giving you money. Like, you have to have the money for NIL. You have to –
Then the other big question, should the Terps start to get, try to get into the Saudi money,
I mean, the Big Ten's going into private equity, so they're trying to avoid Saudi money by going to private equity money. It's a What a disaster, man. What a disaster. But a statement cover. Everybody feels good about that except for Proctor, myself.
After all that, you picked UCLA?
I did. Georgia. Boy, this looked hairy for those of us that were backers of Georgia.
I know. I felt great the entire time. I lost 2 games by half a point.
Ole Miss was rolling. I mean, in the end, Georgia was definitely the better side and probably could have won.
They were.
This was
they
not.
Played 4
this
quarters.
to me was not as debatable as some of the other ones were. In the end, Georgia was definitively.
I know. It's just they both. I think they both. Were
This
probably
was
the right result, but it's just like I can't believe I lost.
This in
2
particular.
games by combined
This in
4
particular
points.
was not fluky. Georgia ultimately definitely proved to be that much better. And look, Gunnar Stockton looks legit.
I feel a lot better about Trinidad Champ. I mean, they lost, but Trinidad Champ.
In the first half, he looked great, and then you started to see it get shaky. Like you started to see it. Now, again, did you see enough that like you're willing to ignore that? Maybe, but
and he's gonna follow Lane to Florida. I think
that's the plan moving forward.
I think he's gonna be number 1 next year.
Myself, Jeremy, John in Little Rock, John Proctor, and Kyle were on Georgia. Got that point. This one was infuriating. To your point, this one was. USC gets the ball back down 10 with 2 minutes left, and now you have to kick the field goal, right? Like, so you're not even trying to score a touchdown. All you're trying to do is get into field goal range. And the only reason this happens is the rain. All of a sudden it starts pouring down rain. Not that Notre Dame absolutely deserved to win the game, but they deserved to win by a touchdown. Pouring down rain, USC can't complete a pass. Apparently there was some. I did not stick with this game.
I didn't stick with it.
John brought up I guess there was some issue between Lincoln Riley and Marcus Freeman after the game. I don't know, man. I mean, it's not working with Lincoln Riley. Like every now and then he wins one game at USC, but it's not working in general. So there's another one that could very well be open. But all of the jobs are going to be open.
I guess maybe they will.
I mean, I don't know what to do. Like all these schools want to win national championships, and none of them are getting into the mix, so we will see how it plays out. But ultimately, Notre Dame backers were Jeremy, James Revere, John Proctor, Casey. So they get that point because
that was
Notre
one of the
Dame
ones that
wins
Casey
by
won.
10. Yeah, somehow he won that one, which was very rare this week.
Only his Indiana teams won this week.
The Steelers, Thursday night, that was fun. Cincinnati not only covers, obviously, but wins outright in a classic. Myself, Griffin, Stecca, Jeremy, Joe. We haven't said Joe's name much. Kyle, Paul, Ryan.
Joe's just perfectly skating right through the middle of the pack.
He had a statement 4 and 5 week. On Cincinnati, get that point. Missed this one badly. Thought the Jaguars at home were going to have the advantage. No Puka Nacua. What are we doing here? Come on, man. Yeah, that was not the case, as the Rams obliterated them in London. I mean, just whooped that ass.
So is this the new?
Really glad I picked up Tutu Atwell.
Did
really
he get a
glad.
catch?
No,
Really?
Cerro.
They threw it to like 15
They
guys.
threw it to guys I've never heard of. But did they throw it to Tutu Atwell? Not once. I think it was McLaurin. Somebody that was ruled out on Saturday. I was like, got to pick up somebody. Who's a stealthy pickup? Who's a
Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell. Well, no,
he had a big catch
no
against the Colts.
Nakua. All right, let's see. Cerro scored 1,000 points. Nothing for Tutu Atwell.
Sure, went with Shamire Dike.
Sure, that would have been a play. On the Rams, Andrew Steck, Jeremy Kahn, James Revere, John Proctor, and Paul Valley. This one you could see coming from a mile away. The Eagles were only 2.5-point favorites because they had lost back-to-back games. We obsess over this too much. Sometimes good teams lose games. The Eagles were never really. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do ultimately with J.J. McCarthy and whether they can. They got things they got to deal with, but the Vikings are not as good as the Eagles. Period. They're not. And so this one to me was one of the easiest picks of the week. I was on it. Griffin was on it. Joe, John, and Little Rock, John Proctor, Kyle, Paul Valley, Ryan Shaw. There were only 4 backers. I can't believe there were 4 backers of Minnesota there. That one to me.
Well, it's Jeremy and Andrew, so that was.
Oh, just betting against the public. Got it. Sometimes the public knows what they're talking about.
Not KZ. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's struggling. Haven't said his name at all, really. Giants and Broncos. Again, this is one the Giants will think about. I mean, we still got it. Like all we
but
needed was for them to cover.
won.
Your Giants, because you're a Cam Scatterbo guy.
And a Jackson Dart guy.
Okay.
And Malik Neighbors guy.
Should they have won? I don't know. That's a difficult. It's effing weird that the Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the Broncos are. By the way,
what if the Ravens lost this game? What if this was the Ravens?
Oh my God. Oh
what would happen?
God.
What would happen?
City would burn.
So the screenshot. Maybe I can find it. It was 7 minutes left. They were up 20 when they were up 26-8. They had a 99.8 chance.
Of course,
to win.
Of course they would.
That was the
I mean, the word was like no team had lost in that scenario up 18 at that deep in the fourth quarter since 2003. I don't know what to make of the Broncos.
Well, you don't let the kicker on the plane, right?
Well, yeah,
the
Giants, you missed 2 extra points. Forget it. But I can't figure out what the Broncos are. I benched Bo Nix.
No! I was going against Bo. I was texting my friend all day, points. And we were talking smack to each other, and then Bo Nix started going off, and I couldn't have any. I didn't have anything back to go.
But I can't figure out what their deal is, man. Like, what is your deal? Who are you? Are you good?
Sean Payton coach team, I guess.
Sean Payton coach teams didn't do this in the past.
Well, I mean, like, they're just always going to be around. But you
guess, but this is insane. They do nothing for 3 quarters. I don't understand what the Broncos are. I think they're a money laundering scheme, but I can't say that with certainty at this point. Ultimately, they were winners. In the end, that's the only part that matters. But still, the Giants did cover. So myself, you, Stetka, James Revere, John in Little Rock, Paul Valley, Ryan Chell, all on that. Yeah, the Colts break them up. They just continue to look the part. Now, in fairness, the people that picked the Chargers were not aware that they were wearing those gross, disgusting. Imagine having the powder blue uniforms. They're yours.
I'll give them credit. By the end of the game, it looked a little better because they were all like dirty, so it didn't look quite as like revolting yellow.
Awful.
But when the game
Everybody's
started,
always convinced that they're wearing gold uniforms. I'm like, no, you're not. You're wearing yellow. That's what you're wearing. And it looks like shit. You're wearing uniforms that look like actually urine. That's what they look like. Why are you choosing that? Ever. God. Even the dumbass Steelers who incorporate the colors significantly in their uniform scheme know not to wear them as the primary color of the uniform. They look terrible. You're right. In some of those pictures, you're like, it doesn't look that bad. On TV, looked awful. I don't know if it's the juxtaposition of the yellow against the green of the field. Looked, unfathomably awful. So I do almost feel like the people that picked the Chargers maybe should deserve to not have to have a loss go on their record, because who could have known? But you're never winning. You're never winning like that, ever. Ugh. Oh, what are you doing? You have the powder blue is yours. It belongs to you. This isn't like the Love You Blue Oilers situation where the Titans are thieves and want to wear it, and it pisses off the people in Houston that aren't allowed to wear it. It ain't that. Like, that's a problem, and I understand what makes it difficult. For real. Sucks. Anyway, who was on the Chargers? Stetka was on the Chargers. Paul Valley was on the Chargers. John Proctor was on the Chargers, and Joe Serpico was on the Chargers. That was dumb. And then the Falcons are very much like, what are you? Like, what are you? What am I looking at here? Because Michael Penix was having the Malik Washington problems last night. Like, I know you're talented, but what in the ever-loving F is this? Like, the Michael Penix was not close. I know part of it is when you watch a left-handed quarterback, it's just so weird to watch them that sometimes you think they can't throw the ball.
I can't stand watching left-handed quarterbacks.
It's very difficult.
He does throw it really well.
He does.
He throws it so nice.
But he just throws it nowhere close. I don't know what that was last night.
Man, when he puts one on the mark,
I understand.
Feels good.
I don't know what the Falcons are, man. I don't know. But
I don't know why they didn't. They needed to give it to Bijan more, I guess.
I know, but they also need to be able to complete a pass, like throw the ball to the receiver. It was tough to watch. That was a bad, like as wonderful as Thursday night was. Oh, that was brutal last night. That was not a pleasant watch. I did end up focusing more on the baseball game than the football game last night because it was that bad. Still, I had it right. Myself, Jeremy. Who else had that?
It was weird because everyone alternated.
Kyle Ottenheimer, John Proctor. We gotta have a way to like Joe Serpico were on San Francisco. So for the week, big week. Jeremy Kahn, 7-2.
Wow,
nearly back to
He's
500
for
the
me?
season. 34-35 now on the year. Next up at 6-3, myself, as well as Kyle Ottenheimer and Paul Valley. Paul Valley, who we had written off. We thought he didn't know what the rules of the game were.
He was 2 weeks in. He was texting me. He was like, "Dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do."
All of a sudden, Paul Valley, and isn't even the vice bottom that we call the bottom. I like that.
Vice bottom.
I like calling everybody the power bottom. I think is what.
Who's
I'm
the bottom?
Right now? That would be Ken Zales.
Oh man,
Ken Zales,
Mr. Football. What?
Low mark of the week, 2-7. I saw John in Little Rock talking shit in the comments about KZ. 2-7 in a week where, for the most part, everybody was pretty good this week. That was the disappointing part about going 6-3. Is some weeks you go 6-3 and you're like, oh, I'm going to skyrocket up the table. But for the most part, everyone had a decent week except for KZ and Andrew Stetka. And Andrew Stetka's hopes of getting out of the league took a hit as his 3-6 week dropped him 2 games.
As if I was going to let that happen anyway.
Oh, is that the case? Griffin remains at the top of the table after a 5-4 week. He is 1 game in front of James Revere, Andrew, and Ryan Chell. Ryan Chell, who strung together like 5 straight 500 weeks, over 500 weeks. Ryan Chell 2 games back. Jeremy and John in Little Rock 3 games back. I'm 4 games back. Joe and Kyle Ottenheimer 5 off the pace. And then there's the separation. Like, everybody there is pretty good. And then Paul Valley 8 games back. John Proctor 9 games back. Ken Zales, who's so bad, he's actually broken our table.
Yeah.
He's actually broken our
I'm going to have to call John and be like, what?
He is 10 games off the pace. 10 games back. And a game now clear of John Proctor at the bottom of the table. So that's where we are. Winner gets a little bit of cash. Loser is going to have to do 24 hours in a restaurant we enjoy, but having to do some things that they might not want to do in order to get out of it. We'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit, and we'll get Tuba to wrap it up. It's a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Game day hits different with Live Casino's Big Plays, Big Pays hot seats. Head to Sports and Social on select Sundays and Mondays in October. We'll draw 10 hot seat winners every hour. When the home team scores, we'll double the prize pool. Plus, we'll give away $50 Sports and Social gift cards with every touchdown. Watch and win at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we are winding down for a Monday edition of the program. Let's go ahead and get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by me. That's who it's brought to you by, because I'm awesome, and you should be more thankful for that. There you go, tidbit.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Tidbit-wise, we're going to go with so Drake May. He became the fourth player in NFL history with two passing touchdowns, 2 incompletions or fewer in a single game, and 60 rush yards. 3 other guys have done this.
Say that one more time.
2 passing touchdowns, 2 or more passing touchdowns, 2 or fewer incompletions, and 60 rush yards in a single game.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson did this in 2019. The He is Houdini game against the Bengals. And,
I don't know who else would have done this. I mean, like, because you can't. The thing that stands out is the incompletions, and anybody could have done that. Like, it's just one game, so I got no context cues or clues that help me on this.
He did it 13 years ago.
Great, Robert Griffin III.
Boom. See,
okay.
look at that. You know football.
Sure.
Sometimes. Maybe you're right. Maybe you are awesome.
Yeah, maybe I am.
Lamar in 2019. Drake May yesterday. Lamar in 2019. RG3 in 2012. And the first person that did this was back in 1983.
Dan Marino.
He was not a quarterback.
No. Oh, he wasn't a quarterback.
60 rush yards, 2 or fewer incompletions, and 2 pass touchdowns.
Oh, no. Who would that have been?
That would have been Hall of Famer Walter Payton.
Okay, sure.
That is the list that Drake May joins. Pretty good company, I think.
It's quite strange. You're right about that. All right, here's coming up Tubular. Tubular is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Best place for every big game day. Every big event is inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland. Big Monday night on tap. We could use you. We are shorthanded for trivia tonight. We could use you.
My softball team's shorthanded as well.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Son
of a bitch. ALCS Game 7. We got 3.
I mean, I'm not going.
None of our smarts are available, so actually you wouldn't help with that anyway.
I take it back.
I gotta make a sheepish call to an ex.
Like an ex-teammate or an ex?
No, like we never actually dated.
Okay.
We were.
It would have been funnier if you were just referring to like an ex-trivia teammate as an ex.
No, I always feel bad because like I could just invite her to be on the team, but we don't do that. We only ever call like when we need somebody. Like, hey, you want to come out? Anyway, Game 7 of the ALCS tonight, Mariners Blue Jays on Fox at 8:08. Do we know who's going for Toronto? We know George Kirby's going for Seattle. MLB.
I thought we did.
Let's see.
Bieber, right? I think they're starting with Bieber.
Yeah,
and then Scherzer's available, and one of their other starters is available too. But yeah, I think Bieber.
Yes,
is the starter.
Shane Bieber does get the start. All right, ESPN Monday Night Football true doubleheader tonight, 7 o'clock. Buccaneers Lions. That's also on ABC. The back end is only on ESPN. That's Texans Seahawks at 10. And everything else you can find at Glenn Clark Radio. Who are we kidding? That's what you're watching tonight. Is baseball and football. GlennClarkRadio.com.
Non-sports realize that there's nothing.
Yeah,
there's nothing.
All right,
so.
very good. Thanks today to the great Warren Moon. That was very cool. I really, truly enjoyed that. Appreciate him taking the time for us. Thanks also to 3-star champ Isabell Bosley. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Well, actually, Oscar Isaac and Malala Yousafzai are on Fallon.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow on the program, obviously Joe Serpico,
yes.
Obviously Bo Smolka.
And we'll head out to Arizona.
Oh, Enrique Bradfield's going to join us. Top Orioles prospect. He had a nice week last week in the Arizona Fall League. We'll talk to him about his experience out there. Thanks to everybody at PressBox. All of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com, High's Dairy Stores, Live Casino and Hotel, as well as Nick's Fish House and the Costas Inn. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks.